Today, we're drinking Premier Cru Burgundy. Hey everyone, this is Dublin. Come eat and drink with me. Like I said, today we're drinking Premier Cru Burgundy, and I couldn't be more excited. Now, why did I choose this? Well, if you watch my other videos, I'm doing, a little series within the videos about doing a categorization of Sonoma, Chardonnays, and Pinot Noir. Now, whether they be Premier Cru, Grand Cru, I haven't had a Village one yet, but that's the order of Burgundy. And so, what better place to set my barometer again than to actually try some Premier Cru Burgundy and see if, where we're at, kind of redial, the metrics in. And why are we doing this? Because we need to recalibrate. I've been drinking nothing but Sonoma Chardonnay, Russian River, Sonoma Coast, all through that whole area. And I haven't had a good Burgundy in, a hot minute. So I kind of needed to revisit it again, see what kind of quality QPR they're giving us, see what the flavor profiles are, the kind of complexity it's giving us, just pretty much everything. What does Premier Cru give us? And is it so much better or is it so much worse than some of these wines I've been drinking? Because I've been awarding some of these Sonoma vineyards / winemakers Grand Cru. Maybe that's a little, giving. So let's revisit these, see where we're at. And I really wanted to bring out what I felt was some of the best expressions of white Burgundy, which is of course 100% Chardonnay, bring it to the table. And first and foremost, Chassagne-Montrachet. That is a very famous area in Burgundy where they make some amazing Chardonnay, white Burgundies out of that area. Puligny-Montrachet you might know as well, but Chassagne-Montrachet is just legendary. They have some Grand Crus out of there that are just absolutely mind-boggling good. They fetch a very high price, and it's for those premier collectors around the world. But when you say Chassagne-Montrachet, you're gonna raise a few eyebrows if you're a Burgundy drinker. And the second one, I just wanted to get something a little kind of off the beaten path, not really, really well known, but maybe this is where we can get some of that QPR. Maybe they bring a little quality to the table. And that's where I got the Masserie Blanc Premier Cru. So why I chose this one as well is because of the pairing I'm gonna have. And that is poulet vinaigrette. It is a chicken dish with tarragon, shallots, cream, Burgundy wine. I mean, I couldn't think of a better thing to pair Premier Cru Burgundy with than something that actually incorporates Burgundy wine, butter, cream, and tarragon. Doesn't get more French than that. So, a lot of chefs have told me in the past, Dublin, you can't cook with a wine that you wouldn't drink. Because you are using that wine for a reason. It's not just, we just need wine. It's you're trying to extract some of those flavor profiles out of that wine, incorporate it into your sauce. So why would you choose a crappy wine that you wouldn't drink? Because it's probably gonna make a subpar sauce. So I love a good sauce. Don't get saucy with me, Bernays. So I wanted to get a decent wine. This is probably definitely, $10, $15 more than I usually would have spent. This guy was around 40 something dollars. Not exactly what you'd call a cooking wine, but I really just wanted to try it out. It's about a cup. I figure I'd sacrifice a cup for a really good Chardonnay and, a really good dish and see what we get out of it. But I also wanted to taste it and see if, where we're at, is it that much better or worse than this Chassagne-Montrachet? Now the Chassagne-Montrachet is around $90, $95, and I chose that price range because that's right around where some of those other Chardonnays that I've done videos on, that's what their price ranges are. So I don't want to get something that was like into the hundreds, which you can easily do with Premier Cru, because I'm not really opening those. Except for maybe Kistler. I think those are over $100 now, which they shouldn't be, but I think they are. So let's try these two out. We'll try the cooking wine first, and then we'll go into the really good Premier Cru Burgundy. So let's talk about why I'm doing the Premier Cru, Grand Cru thing in Sonoma. We don't have that system, and it's because it's in Burgundy, it is done by per vineyard. So if you have a specific area in a vineyard that is exceptional, which usually means it's maybe older vines, but that terroir produces great vines and then produces great grapes, which turns into amazing wine. So it gets awarded the Grand Cru distinction because of that. And the consistency, and it's every year, year in, year out, whether it's difficult or not, it's producing amazing wines, the best of the best. And that could just be a block in a specific vineyard, but you know what block that is when you're the winemaker. Now, if you're tending to these vineyards, you kind of know what area it is, and you probably sell each parcel for a little bit different, price range, which is what I am assuming happens in Sonoma as well. Because let's say, like Dutton Ranch. I've had Dutton Ranch from Kistler, and I've had Dutton Ranch from Potts and Hall. And neither are bad, but the Kistler was, to me, leaps and bounds better. It had better texture, better complexity. It really brought what the fruit had out to where I felt like the Potts and Hall was hiding in under a little bit of oak, maybe a little too much oak. That could be winemaker preference, but at the same time, it could be that they're sourcing from a not as expensive and old of a vine area in Dutton Ranch. But this is what an educated person does, is they come up with a theory based on experience and some facts. And so what I'm basing the facts on is what they do in Burgundy. The experience of all the different wines I've drank from different vineyards and different winemakers. So that's why the Kistler, to me, got the Grand Cru, and the Potts and Hall was more of the Premier Cru / maybe like a higher end village. So that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna see what these Premier Crus do when they match up to these really good Sonoma Chardonnays. So again, we're starting here with the wine I'm gonna cook with, the Fil Mas Rouillé Blanc, first year cru Le Deux Terres. It's a beautiful gold color to it. Like a lot of Burgundies, very fresh, kind of a zesty nose. You can get that minerality right away. There's always apple. I feel like there's always some apple and a little bit of lemon. You get a little pineapple in there as well. But I say it's pretty consistent with a lot of Burgundies that I've had. Not bad. Doesn't jump from the glass, but not bad. It has some components that, has me hopeful. Very nice mouthfeel. A little bit of like a saline consistency there. Nice and tangy. Definitely has kind of like a stony edge to it with that green apple definitely coming out right away. Wow. It's a little bit creamy though. It has a really nice texture. It doesn't have that really like razor sharp acidity that sometimes Burgundies can have, which I feel like you're always fighting with. And that could just be age, you need to age them a bit. I'm kind of impatient that way. So this one is a 2020, so it has a couple years on it, but it's still, pretty young. We're in 2024 right now. So it doesn't have a ton of age, especially for a Premier Cru Burgundy. Let's give it one more sip, see where we're at. Wow. I have to remind myself that this is a $40-something bottle of wine. This is not $80 to $90, which it's almost drinking like that. That's a really good, solid, well-made wine. There's definitely some complexity going on, and the finish is still going. Wow, Dublin kind of likes this. I'm thinking maybe we found a little something here. This is kind of off the beaten path. I don't think a ton of people are seeking this out, here in the States, especially in California. So this is pretty darn good. For $40, this is beating the pants off of a lot of Napa and Sonoma Chardonnays. Just saying. All right, let's get into this Chassagne Montrachet Morgeau Bourgeot. I am not classically trained in French, so I know I'm absolutely slaughtering some of these names. Bear with me. This is a 2019. So it has, one more year of age. Is that gonna make like a huge difference? Maybe. Maybe it'll let that acidity, mellow and some of these complexities come out a little bit. Definitely getting like kind of like of course that apple. There's definitely that like minerality coming through. There's like a little bit of nectarine and some peach. Kind of nice. Again, it's not super strong. It's not leaping from the glass. I'm not getting bulldozer powered, but it has, you know, some nice complexity to it. It's a decent nose, and maybe that's where that Grand Cru comes in. The Grand Crus just smack you to where these are just a little more subtle, which, you know, we have plenty of in the Sonoma and Napa Chardonnays. Okay. Woo! That has a little more of that acidic grip. Definitely a lot of nice ripe citrus. Definitely has that lemon component coming through. And definitely getting a little more terroir out of this guy. You can tell those like chalky kind of limestone soils really coming through. A lot of minerality on this. But man, it does have a smoothness and a butteriness to it as well. Not a malolactic butteriness, but just like that kind of saline, buttery, kind of soft, you know, mouthfeel. Something to expect out of a good wine. It really does. It matches up. The nose and the palate are really, really close together. It's like as soon as I take a sniff, oh yeah, and then you get that sip. You get, oh, I'm getting like a, wow, right there was like a grapefruit pineapple mid palate. Woo! That was really nice, actually. Okay, just on your mache. Nice to meet you. Not too shabby at all. For 90 bucks, I'd say this is easily hitting right with a lot of the wines that I've reviewed. It has the same kind of complexity, has the same kind of nice mouthfeel. I'd say like, you know, those Kisslers and those like really, really higher end ones, I think are a little more refined, a little fluffier. Is it Grand Cru compared to this? Is it so much better? I don't know. Not really, but how much better do you get than some of those big wineries out there? Maybe Marcassin or something, or an Albert. But man, who's gonna spend that kind of money? But there you go, right? Who's gonna spend that kind of money is the premier collectors, just the same ones that are collecting the Grand Crus out of Burgundy. So maybe those other wines I was tasting are more Premier Cru when they aren't Grand Cru. You know, what was Freeman, I think was the last one I did. And I said, oh yeah, this is great, very complex, totally Grand Cru. It's just like these. Absolutely. Doesn't have a super long finish, but it has a nice one, has a good mid palate, not a ton, like a huge nose, but just enough to where it kind of gives you a sense of where the wine is and what the flavor profile is and all of that. So yeah, I'm gonna say that these Premier Crus are right there with the Sonoma Premier Crus that I'm awarding. I'm gonna knock them down to, from Grand Cru, probably down to Premier Cru. And this is definitely an eye-opener. It has definitely recalibrated my mind and my palate as to where we are with quality around the world and what the premier Chardonnay makers are doing and what they're doing out in Sonoma and Napa. And those people are amazing winemakers. They have a ton of talent, brilliant scientists as well behind all that winemaking, and you can really taste it. Let's go back to this. Let's do like a really good comparison here. We're talking about like a $40 differential between these two bottles. The Rui, oh, it's really nice. The texture, man, I'm a sucker for good texture and a good wine. Really, really smooth, beautiful texture. Nice flavor profiles, but I will say it's just not quite as poppin' and punchy as this one. So I can see where that little bit of extra money is going. The mid palate is just kind of like, man, it's just more intensity, a little more intensity, a touch more complexity, and man, that finish just has like those beautiful minerality. The terroir is really coming through. You don't get it quite as much as with this one, but they're both really good wines. Now, is it $40 better? Well, I don't know about that. Maybe if it was like 15, 20 bucks more, you could see, okay, that's where that quality is going to. But $40 is probably a bit much. But then again, like I said, Chardonnay Montrachet, you're paying a little bit for the name. The Rui is, a little more under the radar. So, they're competing and they're trying to compete with price. And you see that a lot in Sonoma and Napa and all of that, is you get these good scores and then suddenly the prices jump. And before you know it, you're spending $100 a bottle on something you used to spend 40 bucks on. How many times has it happened to you? I can't even count how many times it's happened to me. And I hate it, but I'm happy for the business owners and the winemakers, whatever. Good for you. But to sum it up, overall, absolutely, these are beautiful wines, very well made. You can tell they come from some old vines with some beautiful complexity, just like when you're getting those top-end Chardonnays out of Sonoma and Napa. So I would say that this is a great recalibration. I'm excited to pair this with my chicken dish, the poulet au vinaigre. So we will circle back and taste these both with that chicken dish, if there's any wine left of the Rui, because I need a cup of that, and well, we should be fine. Dublin we'll try to restrain just a little bit. Anyway, get out there, get yourself some Burgundy, because you gotta try these. They're really beautiful wines. I think they're drinking a lot different than they were, 20, 30 years ago. The style of winemaking has evolved. They are making wines to drink a little bit younger compared to where you need to lay them down for 10 years because they're so astringent and a little, too subdued and acidic, and people are just like, I can't drink these. I'm staying away from French wines. Well, I think, the market dictated that finally to where in some of the ratings you're getting from certain people that, can move the needle a bit, if you know who I'm talking about. And they've changed their winemaking. Good or bad, I mean, that's subjective. For me, I really enjoy it. It's not like where I'm going for like, I need fruit bombs, whatever. But I love that I can drink a 2019 and 2020 Burgundy and absolutely enjoy it and know that it'll just get better. So get out there and get yourself a nice Burgundy, because gosh darn it, you deserve it. We'll be right back with the chicken dish. And we're back with our dish, our poulet au vinaigre. Now, I think that's the right pronunciation. Anyone in the French comments can smack me around, that's okay. But anyway, so we want to see how this pairs with this Burgundy. This is what I was really shooting for. This is what I pictured when I thought of doing the Premier Cru, seeing how it went with our Sonoma Coast and Sonoma Valley, Russian River, Napa, all those Chardonnays. Did they stand up to the Premier Cru? Well, part of that is, does it pair with a good French dish? And to me, tarragon, shallots, cream, chicken, all that, I just screamed to me, that's a perfect French pairing if I ever heard one. I don't know if there's a som in the country that would say, Dublin, you don't know what you're talking about. They'd all be like, that guy's kind of right. He's kind of that guy. So, without ado, let us give this a try. Right away you get that shallot, onion, tarragon flavor coming through. This does have vinegar in it, so you get a little bit of that vinegar, but you have all that cream to cut through that acid. Oh yeah, that is perfect. It just screams of Burgundy. Absolutely. This has the acidity to hold up to the fat. Really goes well. You have some of those like lemony, like I was saying before, those lemon kind of tropical fruits. It goes with that shallot and onion, which kind of gives off some of those kind of tropical acidic fruit. Beautiful tang to it. Kind of goes with that lemony citrus notes that go with this Burgundy. Let's give this a sip. That's exactly what I was hoping for. You have that like lemony custard with like grapefruit, soft tropical fruits. It goes perfectly with some of that vinegar, with the shallots and the tarragon all mixed together. It really is harmonious. It really pairs well. I think this is a great dish. I mean, overall, this is just amazing. I feel so fortunate to embrace life, cook this amazing dish at home, have it with this beautiful white Burgundy. Are you kidding me? I mean, talk about taking a bite out of life. Get out there, cook yourself something good, get yourself a nice little wine to go with it. I mean, if you can't swing this, we have the other one, the Burgundy that I had. That would be perfect with this. It didn't make it to the table because I did wind up having to use the rest of it for this dish. So that was a decent amount of wine. I'm probably not going to spend $40 on a cooking wine again. But hey, each to their own. Go for it if you can do it. But yeah, get out there, have some fun, enjoy yourself, make some good dishes like this. It's good for the soul. I mean, I already feel good. It has nothing to do with the little bit of wine I've already had, maybe. So get out there and treat yourself, because you know what? Gosh darn it, you deserve it. Cheers, everyone.